We'll be doing a nitration of methyl benzoate. Benzoate is an aromatic compound structurally related to benzene. The aromatic ring is electron-rich and will react with electrophiles. The electrophile used in this reaction is a nitronium ion. In order to form the nitronium ion in solution, you'll need to react nitric acid with sulfuric acid to form it. And then to keep the aromatic ring as the product, the electrophile, your nitronium ion, will substitute for one of the hydrogens on the ring, rather than adding like it would with alkenes. So which hydrogen will be replaced? We can determine this based on the group that's already attached. As you can see, a carbonyl will help direct it to the meta position. And if you can recall, determining where the carbonyl is, first you are ortho, then meta, and then para. This will be directing it to the meta position right here. Also, the carbonyl will slow the rate of reaction substantially. The first thing that you want to do is place your 3 mils of sulfuric acid and your 3 mils of nitric acid into ice baths, as well as your methyl benzoate and your methanol that will be used later. Everything needs to be in an ice bath and kept very cool. In order to keep the temperature below 0 degrees Celsius, you'll be adding 5 grams of salt to each beaker of ice. It is important to keep everything very cold during the reaction so that the products turn out the way you'd like them. First, it is important to keep the nitric acid and sulfuric acid mixture cold, because when you add the sulfuric acid slowly to the nitric acid, you need to make sure that the nitronium ion is stable. If it is heated to above 0 degrees Celsius, you will lose the nitronium ion and the reaction will not go completely. So this is your solution. You'll be adding the nitric acid slowly to the cool 3 mils of sulfuric acid that are already in the 50 ml flask. Make sure that you use a glass rod to stir in the beaker, which will help the formation of the nitronium ion. Also, when you're handling both sulfuric acid and nitric acid, you need to be very careful and use all necessary safety precautions. For instance, wearing rubber gloves and pouring away from your body, since both nitric acid and sulfuric acid are very dangerous. To your already cool solution of methyl benzoate, you're going to be adding 3 milliliters of cold sulfuric acid. Remember, it is important with a pipette. Remember, it is important to add cold sulfuric acid, because when you're adding it to the methyl benzoate, you need to make sure that there is no hydrolysis of the ester in the methyl benzoate. If the solution is too warm, over 0 degrees Celsius, then you will have hydrolysis and lose your product. Make sure that you're adding it dropwise. You also want to add this mixture very slowly, preferably over a period of 10 minutes. And making sure the entire time that you're keeping the temperature below 0 degrees Celsius, and continue to swirl the flask to keep the reaction mixture close to that temperature. Now you'll need to add the mixture of nitric acid and sulfuric acid that has been cooling. You'll need to add this solution dropwise into your reaction flask, remembering to keep the temperature always below 0 degrees Celsius and adding it over a period of 10 minutes. You want to make sure that you don't exceed a period of 15 minutes, since the sulfuric acid nitric acid mixture isn't terribly stable. After the addition is finally complete, you want to let the resulting mixture stand at room temperature for an additional 15 minutes with occasional swirling. As you can see, as you add the mixture to your reaction flask, you will continue to swirl within the ice bath to keep it cool while you add it. Also, you can see that the mixture changes the color of the reaction. Make sure to note any important observations in your lab notebook. The color that you will observe is quite normal since the methyl benzoate is being nitrated. Remember, once the addition is finally complete, you will remove the reaction flask from the ice bath and let it stand for 15 minutes at room temperature with occasional swirling. After you've let the mixture stand for 15 minutes, you want to get 25 grams of crushed ice in a 100 or 150 milliliter beaker and pour the reaction mixture into the beaker, stirring as you pour. You will begin to see immediately white or whitish crystals that are beginning to form. Use the glass rod to stir, which will help the formation of crystals. As you can see, you have a lot of white crystals that have formed. Now you will set up a vacuum filtration and filter these white crystals out.